Oh, Jeep is in serious trouble. They're recalling the 4xe, the Wranglers, the Cherokees. Check this story out. This Jeep explodes in a house and almost lights it on fire. This is wild.
Of a hybrid Jeep that blew up Tuesday morning in Erie is speaking out tonight in only to Fox 31.
Our Nicole Fierro is on it with the latest on this explosion that investigators are now telling us isn't the only one that they've seen in the area recently.
Yeah, what a crazy situation. This family just moved into their house days ago. Now, here you see their garage door that was blown off, and over here, these are parts of the Jeep that are now totaled from the explosion in here.
Basically, my bedroom's up here. This is where I was sleeping.
Carmelo Maggio walks us through the shocking awakening he had Tuesday morning before class. Smoke alarms going off. His mom bursts into his room, telling him to get the pets and get out.
And I see some smoke, and then I see it's coming from the garage, and I get super worried because my Jeep was in there.
Firefighters rush to the garage. Maggio gets out right in time to see what happens next.
I'm over there on the street, and I watch a big boom, and this garage door exploded, went mid-air, almost hit a firefighter. It was like something you'd see out of a movie, a massive explosion, and I've just never seen anything like that because we didn't see any real visible flames. We just saw a bunch of gas and smoke.
That volatile explosion knocked firefighters who were in the garage off their feet. They tell us they are okay after this all. Maggio and his family feeling fortunate they too walked out uninjured.
The gas that they let off.
Goes on to talk about the gas in the house and how it's toxic and all this other stuff. But that story is absolutely just wild. So that was a year ago. Now Jeep's having another recall for the same freaking thing. It's unbelievable. These companies are not testing anything. Check this out. Well, if you've got a 2020 through 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4xe or Jeep Cherokee 4xe, they're recommending that you don't charge it because, well, you might start a fire. So I'd take the recommendation. Oh, I've got more recalls too. We've got a Tacoma TSB. We've got Mustang rear knuckles are fracturing and cracking and falling off. All sorts of problems with these modern cars. Kind of sucks. Let's start with the Jeeps. 194,000 Jeep Wrangler 4xe and Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe vehicles following 13 vehicle fires. In addition to being told that you shouldn't charge your Jeep, also park it outside because you don't want it to burn your house down. They estimate it'll affect about 5% of those 194,000 Jeeps. In November 2023, the Jeep Wrangler 4xe, it had the same recall, the same problem, and now those owners will need to take their Jeeps back and get the dealer to fix this again. And my favorite line, according to Chrysler, they say the remedy is imminent. What is that? What is that? I mean, a remedy is imminent. Of course it is. It's a recall. It's a safety recall. You have to do it. If I had one recommendation to folks out there looking to buy hybrid vehicles, I would say stick with a company like Toyota or someone that's been doing hybrids for a long time. If you're going to go EV, I'd stick with like a Tesla. That's what I'd go with. Just the infrastructure, everything around it is better. They've been doing it a long time. You don't see a lot of fires from those cars unless they're in an accident, which is kind of typical of any vehicle. Stay away from these companies that are just dabbling in the hybrid and dabbling in things to make the EPA happy or just to get headlines. It's probably not going to work out well. There's not a lot of quality assurance going on. I thought this was interesting too. If you look at this, on September 16th, the Ford recalled 5,200 Mustangs because the rear suspension knuckles can fail and cause drivers to lose control. They said during knuckle production, the parts supplier, a debris filter may have been improperly placed during the casting process, allowing slag to enter the part cavity and resulting in casting imperfections. So this is kind of like what you start seeing with the last Tundra that I saw, where the water pump sheared off and the cast was just bad. I mean, we're starting to see it in all manufacturers, all vehicles. It's just, man, when you start cheaping out on things, making them thinner. If you guys watched Tinker's Adventure recently, he showed how the new Land Cruisers and all these four-wheel drives, they're just, everything's shrinking. The tie rods are shrinking, the control arms are shrinking. Everything's just getting a little bit thinner, a little bit weaker. I'm telling you, the cost cutting's real. And as I'm sure you've heard on some of my other videos and other people's videos, there was a TSB announced for the Tacoma transmission, the 2024 Tacoma TSB 007624. Toyota Tacoma transmission problems have caused technical service bulletin. They say, according to Toyota, certain 2024 Tacomas may illuminate warning lights. Guess what? Those warning lights mean you need a new transmission. So they give a list of all the trouble codes here that could potentially pop up if you've got one of these Tacomas under these VINs. And of course, the transmission and torque converter replacements and dealer labor will be covered. Of course, they will be covered because it is under warranty. Not only probably a bumper-to-bumper warranty, but a 60-month, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. This is the one that they claimed was also debris. All we keep hearing from these manufacturers is debris, debris, debris. If you've got a suspension knuckle on your Mustang that fails, it was debris in the cast. If you have Tundra engines that fail on your second and third, it is debris. Transmissions failing, it was debris. Everything's debris. I'm going to start using that excuse at work. It was just debris, man. I'm sorry I screwed that up. It was just debris. Next up is the Kia EV9, the remote smart parking assist recall announced. 14,000 EV9 SUVs are recalled because the remote parking feature can cause collisions. Next up, Mazda MX-5 2016 to 2023. Mazda MX-5 Miata recalled. They recalled 85,000 cars. Front airbags that may deploy with too much force in a crash. I like how they go on to describe how Mazda discovered the problem in April of 2024 when creating airbag sensors for newer models. The engineers tested the force of the airbag deployment and determined that the problem violated federal safety standards. So good on Mazda for testing the airbag force almost 10 years after the airbags came out in cars. Well, I'm certainly glad that they're testing it now. Wonderful, right? This was the perfect example. It seems like not that big of a deal, but it's sort of proof that nobody tested the force of the airbags when developing the vehicle. And there's no one in the federal government like validating this stuff, the force of the airbags. Otherwise, why would there be a recall, and why would they be saying that there's too much force? Enough so that they're recalling 85,000 cars. This is just getting kind of ridiculous. Happy that they're recalling the cars, but the quality assurance of vehicles nowadays is so bad. And when you stack layer upon layer of software on top of all of these new manufacturing processes, and then the skimping on the parts and the lightweighting of every piece on the vehicles, it is a recipe for disaster. And that is why we are seeing all manufacturers in the news all the time. Ford, GM, everybody. It's debris, it's failed transmissions, it's failed engines, it's failed turbos. People can't develop anything anymore. You can't get radio knobs that last more than a month in some of these cars. It's just everything's being made like throwaway garbage. This is the new thing. Good luck. Doom and gloom it may be, but there's always the option. Just remember, there's always the option to buy a good, reliable used car, maybe pre-2020, I would say. It feels like up to about the events of 2020 that vehicles were made with a little bit more care. Maybe wasn't such a big focus on making them super light, and turbos hadn't really taken over in anything but like Ford. So yeah, you go back behind, back earlier than 2020 and get a little less tech, a little less insurance spying on you. You'll be good. Thanks for watching. Till next time.